Welcome back to another segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. Today I'm going to be taking more of your questions in a segment of Ask Judy. If you're enjoying these, please do hit like and subscribe. And if you have a question you'd like to ask me, put them in the comments below. This question is from DF1979. Were there ever any crushes or actual dating between any of the actors on the show, the kids or adults? Did the people in charge of the show make it clear that things like that didn't need to happen? So don't even think about it, or whatever you did off camera was your own business. So there really wasn't any dating amongst any of the cast. I mean, we were all so young when we started that we quickly felt like brothers and sisters, although I've talked about how I had a crush on pretty much all my brothers. We never dated. There was never anything, really romantic about any of it. I think Michael Learned has talked about how she and Ralph thought about going on a date once and decided that it was probably better for the show and better for their characters if they didn't, but that they really did love each other. There was never anything from the producers or higher up saying there was no rules about what we could or couldn't do in relation to that. So it was pretty much up to us on our personal lives. Then, if an actor was dating or old enough to be dating at the time, was it common to bring their love interest to the set to watch them do scenes or just hang around, or would that be frowned upon due to being a liability or something? No. I mean, if we were dating someone, we all did bring, dates, people that we, not maybe a casual, one-off, I went out once and I'm bringing the person to the set, but we could bring friends to the set at times. We had to clear it with the assistant director, and their name had to be put on a list at the gate, so for security reasons that they could get onto the lot. Things have gotten a lot tighter in more recent years, so they were a little looser then. Cars weren't screened, it wasn't as, we didn't have to be as tight with security back then. So yeah, I mean, for those of us who dated someone for some time, or as we were older and some of us were married, our dates definitely came and hung out on set at times. We would probably pick days or scenes when it wasn't going to be a really sensitive scene where someone had a lot of emotional work, but it doesn't mean that the person would be sitting watching everything that was filming anyway. So yes, that definitely happened. Then one more question. John Ritter was on the show. Do you remember how he acted while he was on the set, while not doing a scene? Did he joke around and be playful with everyone, or was he more quiet and serious? John Ritter could turn it on and off at the blink of an eye, as could Richard, and the two of them were good friends and always trying to break each other up and trip each other up, and they were such pros and so good at dropping in and out of character that it was never an issue. Not to say that they would do it again if it was a big emotional scene, but just in regular interaction and things like that, yeah, we were all pretty good at that. So, but John never took himself too seriously, and he was so much fun to have on set, and I really missed him when he went off to do, Three's Company, but we were very happy for his success, and very, very sorry when he passed away so young. This question is from Dave. And he said, after looking up Script Supervisor, I was quite surprised they actually don't write stories. They do everything else but. Can you talk about the Script Supervisor job, as it seems to me incredibly stressful and a job requiring someone with incredible patience, an organization skill, and it's not something you can explain in one thought. That's true. The Script Supervisor does not write the scripts or the stories, but they keep track of a lot of information that happens during the filming. Simple things like if an actor needs a line, they're the person who has a script in front of them and will say, oh, that's the line. Or if something went way off track and there's some question about that, the Script Supervisor will, correct what it was that went way off. Sometimes after a take, if someone has really flubbed a line, they may come over to you and say, this is what this line is, particularly since it is often really important that someone get the line the way it was written. Sometimes they'll ask the director if the director cares if the line was not what it was supposed to be. They also keep track of all that continuity stuff. So around that kitchen table, when things are moving, plates of food are moving, people are taking bites and sips of food, they are doing their best to keep track of what everybody is doing and when. Because when it comes to your close-up, in order for the editing to be consistent, if you picked up a slice of bread in the master and they want to cut into you mid your dialogue or reaction, and all of a sudden you have, a fork of meat in your hand, it's not going to match. Now, of course, we had often 11 people, sometimes with guests, even more people around the table. So they couldn't get every little detail, but they have to have a pretty sharp eye and make as many notes as they can. Which side, if you have long hair, was it over your shoulder? Was it back? Things like that. Nowadays with digital, sometimes they can go back and they can take a look. They can go, well, wind it back. Where was it? But back then, they didn't have that, so they just had to kind of keep track of that. They also keep track of what shots were done. Was it a master? Was it a two-shot? Was it a close-up? Was it an over-the-shoulder? So they're taking all kinds of notes that will go along to the editor eventually. There's camera information that's included in what they do. So indeed, someone who can be very organized and has a good eye and can pay attention. Sometimes if an actor is supposed to be off camera giving lines and they either aren't available, maybe it's a rush thing and somebody's changing clothes or somebody wasn't there, we have to pick something up, it's late in the day and the children had to go home, and you need off-camera dialogue, the script supervisor is often the person who will cue you with the lines that are supposed to be coming from off-camera. So interesting note that Ellen Corby started off as a script supervisor, so she always had a very keen sense of keeping track of all of that and recognizing that she needed to pay attention to that. And very early on, we all learned to do as much of that as we could. But sometimes you just miss something. You're like, did I move this right to left or left to right, or what did I do? So lots and lots of detail. A second question from Dave was, I was wondering about a bar fight. With the damage to the set and time, I can imagine the budget went up for that, or perhaps more time to shoot that, but I don't know, since it was one of the Waltons. It was rare for the Waltons to do a custom set versus using what existed. Any thoughts? So bar fights, obviously if they were going to destroy a lot of things, it's critical, just like with water, when I've talked about if someone gets wet, you can't keep drying them off and doing it again on a TV schedule. So same thing, if something was going to break, if we had a breakaway bottle or chair, they might have more than one or something like that, but they won't have an unlimited supply. They stage all that stuff pretty carefully, so chances are the way it was staged was designed to not take any more time than it needed to, and to not break a lot of things that then would be a problem with the set. So we had to do things like that on sort of the TV version or the Walton version of it, so that we could stay on budget and on time. This question from 2007 Carlin. If you had the power, is there some aspect of the show that you would have changed or done differently about it? Probably. I think that for me personally, if I'm just talking about my character, I wish that Mary Ellen had been around the house longer. I was only 18, so I was only into, the 5th season when Mary Ellen got married and then moved. So once I was out of the house, I didn't get to be involved in as many scenes there. And so that was kind of disappointing. I wasn't involved in all of the family dynamics. If I was going to be there, I either had to come back to the house for some reason, or it was something that was happening in the doctor's office, or specifically with me and Kurt at home. So that aspect, I think also I would have preferred that Mary Ellen not get married so young, and have a baby so young, again, because it restricted some of my storylines. Mary Ellen always wanted to do something different. Now, being a nurse was certainly not common, and then when she decided to become a doctor, but I think it would have been fun if she'd done something really unusual for a woman, if she'd wanted to be a pilot or an engineer or something and really change the world. But I get that a lot of it was tracking along with Earl's real family. So there was that. There were some storylines that I didn't totally get or didn't think made a lot of sense, or some episodes I thought were stronger than others, some directions we went. So I don't have a lot of specifics, but overall I think we did a pretty darn good job for a long time of creating a certain standard and living up to it for the most part. So I'm so glad that you all have enjoyed that as well. That's what I have for you for this segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons, Ask Judy. I will be back with more behind the scenes of the Waltons and more Ask Judy. Thanks for watching.